This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Welcome to Chapter 1 of our series, Price It Right, Charge What You're Worth. In this episode titled Pricing Psychology, Why People Pay What They Pay, we're going to explore the fascinating psychological triggers that influence pricing decisions. Get ready to uncover the secrets behind why we value certain products and services the way we do. Let's dive in. A store runs a tiny test. 2 jackets, nearly identical, tagged at $108 and $109. Shoppers suddenly switch which one they prefer, just because a single digit on the left changed. In this episode, we'll explore why your brain treats prices like this and never tells you. That tiny tug you feel between "this seems fair" and "no way I'm paying that" isn't random. It's your brain running a silent negotiation with the number on the tag. In real life, though, you're almost never looking at that number alone. You're comparing it with the normal price you saw last week, the cheaper option right beside it, the review that said it was totally worth it, and the little clock telling you the deal ends in 10 minutes. In other words, pricing is less like arithmetic and more like cooking under pressure. Your brain is constantly tasting, adjusting, and compromising with whatever ingredients the seller puts in front of you. In this episode, we'll zoom in on those ingredients: anchors, decoys, bundles, scarcity, and upgrades, and see how they quietly steer what feels like a good deal, even when the math barely changes. Those ingredients don't just live in luxury showrooms or shady infomercials. They're baked into the routines you barely notice: tapping "Confirm Ride," agreeing to a software upgrade, or picking a meal delivery plan. A tiny change in the menu layout, the most popular tag, or the way shipping is split across items can nudge you towards spending more while feeling smarter about it. Think of apps that auto-select a middle tier, restaurants that slip in a high-priced dish, or retailers that show only 3 left online. Each move quietly rewrites what your brain calls reasonable. When MIT and University of Chicago researchers swapped a $112 tag for $109, nothing real changed about the jacket. Yet 28 percentage points of shoppers changed sides. What moved wasn't the cost. It was the story their brain told about the cost. That story is stitched together from a few powerful threads. First, left-digit bias. Your brain reads price tags like headlines, not essays. The first digit sets the tone, so 109 feels like it lives in a different neighborhood than 112, even though they're close. That's one reason charm pricing, $4.99, $9.97, keeps surviving every "this must be outdated" prediction. A 2021 meta-analysis of dozens of studies found small but reliable bumps in conversions when that left digit ticks down, enough to matter at scale for supermarkets, SaaS plans, and airline tickets. Second, relative trade-offs. Dan Ariely's Economist subscription test is a classic. Adding a useless middle option, print only at the same price as print plus web, suddenly made the combo look like a steal. People weren't hunting for the absolute best value. They were trying not to feel dumb. The decoy gave them a clear, smart choice. Third, social cues. A most popular badge, 10,000 reviews, or chosen by professionals label subtly says, "Relax, others already did the homework." That's why you'll see mid-tier software plans or streaming bundles wearing that badge. They're not just options, they're reassurance. Then there's movement over time. Dynamic systems like Uber's Surge don't just update numbers, they test the edge of what feels fair. In New York on New Year's Eve, higher prices pulled 70% more drivers onto the road. But when multipliers climbed past 2.8 times, riders flipped from "makes sense" to "they're exploiting me." The same math that balances supply and demand can trigger moral outrage once it crosses an invisible fairness line. You can see similar patterns in hotel rates that spike during festivals, airline prices that jump around your search history, or game items that get cheaper as a season ends. The mechanics differ, but the pattern is consistent. Shift the context, and you shift the comfort zone. Your challenge this week: pick one thing you sell or regularly buy and run a small, controlled pricing experiment. For sellers, change only one element: left digit, decoy tier, most popular label, or timing for a subset of customers, and track not just sales, but complaints and refunds. For buyers, when you face a price that feels too high or shockingly good, pause and write down what you're comparing it to, who you think is watching, friends, reviews, most people, and whether it would feel different if the number changed only on the left side. At the end of the week, look for where your feelings moved more than the math did. Think about a storm forecast. The same rainfall feels harmless or scary depending on whether it's labeled light showers or severe weather alert. A similar shift happens when a hotel lists from $149 per night, but shows most dates at $189. The low anchor lingers, even if you never see that cheaper night. Or take a streaming platform that quietly rearranges its plans so the priciest tier sits next to a limited basic option. Suddenly, the middle tier feels like shelter from missing out. Grocery apps do this too. A family value pack of snacks sits beside single items priced just high enough that the bundle feels like protection against overspending, even if you toss half of it later. In medicine, a standard test at $80 can make a $220 comprehensive panel seem like prudent prevention rather than a splurge, especially when framed as recommended for people like you. Across these cases, the number on the tag doesn't move nearly as much as the story about what kind of decision you're making: careless, cautious, or cleverly in control. As algorithms learn your habits, two shoppers staring at the same product may quietly see different offers, like neighbors getting different weather alerts from hyper-local forecasts. Location, device type, and even how long you hover can tweak what you're shown and when. Expect more just for you discounts, stricter rules on how they're disclosed, and new etiquette. Savvy buyers comparing screens, using tools that flag odd patterns, and treating prices as dynamic, not final. So the next time a number flashes on a screen, treat it like a draft, not a verdict. Ask, who benefits if I say yes right now? Notice timing tricks, loyalty perks, and personalized nudges that only appear after you hesitate, like spices added at the table, not in the kitchen. The more you can see these layers, the more you can choose when to play along. Before next week, ask yourself: 1. Looking at one product or service I offer right now, what price would make a customer think, "This is suspiciously cheap"? What price would feel reassuringly premium? And what does that gap tell me about where my current price actually sits in their mind? 2. If I reframed my price using one of the episode's tactics, like anchoring against a higher-priced option, bundling, or changing from a single fee to a monthly, which specific change could I test this week on my website, proposal, or sales page? And how would I measure if people react differently? 3. Where am I unintentionally signaling low value, e.g., plain checkout page, weak guarantee, no contrast option? And what is one concrete tweak I can make today to better match the price I'm asking with the psychological cues I'm giving? This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow.